Good evening, everyone. Achieving true happiness is a pursuit that has fascinated humans for centuries. We often search for it in external accomplishments, material possessions, or fleeting moments of pleasure. But the path to lasting happiness lies deeper than these surface-level experiences. True happiness isn't something that happens to us. It's something we actively create through our choices, mindset, and actions. Today, I want to explore what true happiness really means, how our mindset and habits shape it, and the steps we can take to cultivate a life of deeper fulfillment. By understanding the science behind happiness and focusing on the aspects that truly matter, we can unlock a more meaningful and lasting sense of joy in our lives. Happiness, a state of well-being and contentment, has long been a subject of philosophical debate, but in recent decades, science has uncovered much about the biological underpinnings that drive this profound human experience. At the core of our happiness lies our brain, which is not just a passive receiver of emotions, but an active participant in shaping how we feel. Neurobiologically, happiness is not an abstract, fleeting sensation, but a complex interaction of chemicals, neural pathways, and brain structures that respond to our actions, thoughts, and environment. Understanding this science can shed light on how we can actively cultivate happiness in our lives. At the most fundamental level, our brain releases a variety of neurotransmitters and hormones that influence our emotional states. These include dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, and endorphins, chemicals often referred to as the happiness neurotransmitters. Each of these plays a distinct role in how we experience joy, satisfaction, and even love. Dopamine is particularly central to the experience of reward and motivation. It is released when we achieve something we set out to do, when we receive praise, or when we experience pleasure. This system motivates us to pursue things that are rewarding, contributing to our drive and happiness. Serotonin, on the other hand, is often dubbed the feel-good neurotransmitter, largely due to its role in regulating mood and emotional well-being. Higher levels of serotonin are typically associated with a sense of calm and contentment, and it plays a crucial role in mitigating feelings of anxiety or depression. A balanced serotonin system enables us to feel stable and positive about our lives, and even more importantly, it helps us to maintain emotional resilience in the face of challenges. This ability to feel good not only improves our immediate sense of happiness, but it also plays a critical role in promoting long-term mental health. Another key chemical is oxytocin, which is sometimes called the bonding hormone. It is released when we engage in social bonding, such as hugging a loved one, experiencing trust in a relationship, or even sharing a positive interaction with a stranger. Oxytocin is powerful because it directly impacts our social behavior, influencing our capacity for empathy, connection, and trust. The release of oxytocin fosters a deep sense of emotional warmth and belonging, which are vital components of sustained happiness. As social creatures, our happiness is often rooted in the strength of our relationships and the depth of our social connections, and oxytocin plays a significant role in promoting these connections. Endorphins, another important group of chemicals, are often associated with the runner's high to euphoria experienced after prolonged physical activity. These natural painkillers are released by the brain in response to stress and physical exertion. While they help to reduce pain, endorphins also produce feelings of pleasure and happiness. Exercise, physical movement, or any activity that encourages the release of endorphins can significantly elevate mood and contribute to a greater sense of well-being. The more consistent we are in engaging in such activities, the more we can harness the brain's natural ability to boost happiness through endorphin release. However, it is not enough to simply talk about these chemicals in isolation. They don't work independently. Happiness is not just about having one chemical in abundance, but rather how these different systems work together in a synchronized way. For instance, when dopamine and serotonin levels are balanced, the brain is more likely to experience a lasting sense of motivation and contentment. When we experience stress, the body releases cortisol, a hormone that helps us respond to danger, but prolonged high levels of cortisol can interfere with dopamine and serotonin, leading to feelings of anxiety or depression. Chronic stress, for example, is known to negatively impact the brain's ability to regulate mood, often depleting the serotonin and dopamine systems, thus making it harder to experience happiness. The key takeaway from this neurobiological perspective on happiness is that our brain is not a static entity. It is malleable and responsive to both our external environment and internal practices. Just as habits can shape our physical bodies, they can also rewire the brain to create a more lasting sense of happiness. For example, consistent exercise can promote endorphin release, which improves mood and overall happiness. Similarly, mindfulness and gratitude practices can increase serotonin levels, fostering a greater sense of contentment. Positive social interactions, which trigger oxytocin release, can make us feel deeply connected, reinforcing the bonds that lead to long-term happiness. The neurobiology of happiness emphasizes that we have more control over our emotional states than we often realize. By engaging in behaviors that promote the release of happiness-enhancing chemicals such as exercising regularly, fostering meaningful social connections, practicing mindfulness, and setting and achieving meaningful goals, we can actively shape the state of our mental well-being. In this way, happiness is not a distant, unattainable ideal, but an ongoing process that we can influence through our choices, habits, and perspectives. Understanding the science behind happiness gives us the tools to take control of our emotional lives, ultimately leading to a deeper, more fulfilling sense of joy. The pursuit of happiness is deeply intertwined with our sense of purpose, and central to that pursuit is goal setting. At its core, goal setting is not merely about achieving specific objectives, but about providing direction, meaning, and motivation in life. The psychological and neurological benefits of having clear, meaningful goals cannot be overstated, as they shape our daily behaviors and influence our emotional well-being in profound ways. Goal setting activates the brain's reward systems and provides a blueprint for living a life that is not just reactive to circumstances, but proactive and intentional. To understand the importance of goal setting, it is crucial to first recognize the brain's relationship with motivation and reward. When we set a goal, our brain releases dopamine, the neurotransmitter associated with motivation, reward, and pleasure. This chemical serves as a signal that the pursuit of a goal is worthwhile. It sparks motivation to take the necessary steps toward achieving that goal, whether it's something as simple as completing a task or as profound as pursuing a long-term dream. Each small success along the way, each action that brings us closer to our desired outcome provides a small dopamine hit, reinforcing our efforts and increasing our sense of satisfaction. In this way, goal setting becomes a powerful tool for sustaining happiness because it provides us with continuous feedback on our progress, creating a cycle of motivation that feeds back into itself. Moreover, the sense of achievement that comes from reaching a goal further enhances our well-being. When we set a goal and accomplish it, it validates our efforts and provides us with a sense of mastery. This sense of accomplishment is not only deeply fulfilling, but also reinforces our belief in our own ability to influence our circumstances, which is crucial for maintaining positive mental health. This empowerment boosts self-esteem and reduces feelings of helplessness or anxiety, helping us to better navigate the challenges life throws at us. However, the importance of goal setting is not limited to just the moment of achievement. The process of setting and working toward goals also contributes significantly to our happiness and well-being. When we identify and pursue meaningful goals, we create a sense of purpose, something larger than ourselves that guides our actions and decisions. This sense of purpose is often linked to higher levels of life satisfaction and emotional resilience. Having a purpose provides a framework through which we interpret life's challenges, helping us to see setbacks not as failures, but as temporary obstacles to overcome. It allows us to focus on the bigger picture, which can make it easier to stay positive and persistent even when things get tough. A sense of purpose is not just important for our psychological health, it also has profound biological implications. Neuroscientific research has shown that having a sense of purpose can reduce the risk of disease, improve cognitive functioning, and even increase life expectancy. This is because a strong sense of purpose has been linked to lower levels of cortisol, the stress hormone, and higher levels of serotonin, which regulate mood and emotional stability. Purposeful living provides a buffer against the stressors of daily life, acting almost like a protective shield against the negative effects of stress. Goal setting also shapes our daily routines and behaviors. The act of setting goals helps prioritize what is important, enabling us to make deliberate choices about how to spend our time and energy. Without clear goals, we are often subject to the whims of external circumstances and distractions, which can lead to feelings of aimlessness or frustration. When we have goals, however, our decisions become more intentional, and our actions become more intentional, and our actions become more aligned with our values. This alignment is a key driver of happiness, as it fosters a sense of coherence in our lives. We begin to feel that what we are doing is not just passing time, but is contributing to something meaningful. Yet, it is not just any goal that promotes happiness. The nature of the goals we set matters greatly. Research has shown that intrinsically motivated goals, those that are aligned with our core values, passions, and interests, are far more likely to lead to long-term happiness than extrinsically motivated goals. Extrinsic goals, such as seeking wealth, status, or approval from others, might bring short-term satisfaction, but they often fail to provide lasting fulfillment. In contrast, when we set goals that are intrinsically rewarding, such as learning a new skill, contributing to a cause we care about, or improving our health for the sake of well-being, these goals provide a deeper sense of fulfillment because they are aligned with our sense of purpose. They tap into our internal motivation and promote a sense of growth and self-actualization. The alignment between our goals and our sense of purpose is what enables us to experience true happiness in the pursuit of those goals. It transforms goal setting from a task-oriented endeavor into a life-enriching process. Goals become not just about the destination, but also about the journey, the continuous growth, learning, and personal development that occur along the way. As we make progress toward meaningful goals, we gain not only the rewards associated with achieving those goals, but also the intrinsic satisfaction that comes from striving toward something that reflects who we are and what we value most. In sum, goal setting and purpose are intricately linked to happiness because they provide both direction and motivation in our lives. By setting meaningful, purposeful goals, we activate the brain's reward systems, enhance our sense of accomplishment, and create a framework for navigating life's challenges. A clear sense of purpose not only fosters psychological well-being, but also contributes to physical health and longevity. Therefore, cultivating a habit of setting goals and pursuing a life of purpose is one of the most effective strategies we can employ to achieve lasting happiness and fulfillment. Mindfulness and emotional regulation are two powerful concepts that, when practiced together, can significantly enhance our emotional well-being. In today's fast-paced world, we are often caught up in a whirlwind of distractions, stressors, and emotional turbulence. This constant state of mental and emotional flux can lead to anxiety, frustration, and feelings of being overwhelmed. However, mindfulness and emotional regulation offer a pathway out of this cycle, helping individuals gain control over their emotional responses, improve their mental health, and cultivate a deeper sense of happiness. Mindfulness is the practice of bringing one's full attention to the present moment in a non-judgmental and accepting way. It involves focusing on our thoughts, feelings, bodily sensations, and the surrounding environment without becoming attached to them or reacting impulsively. At its core, mindfulness encourages us to observe our experiences as they arise rather than being consumed by them. By doing so, we create space between stimulus and response, allowing us to choose how to react to situations rather than automatically reacting from a place of emotion or habit. This capacity for non-judgmental awareness has profound effects on emotional regulation. Emotional regulation refers to the ability to manage and respond to emotional experiences in a healthy and balanced way. Instead of being overwhelmed by emotions or acting on impulse, emotional regulation allows individuals to pause, reflect, and choose a measured response. It is a critical skill for maintaining emotional balance, and it can be particularly transformative for managing stress, anxiety, anger, and even depression. One of the most remarkable aspects of mindfulness is its ability to impact brain activity in ways that promote emotional regulation. Neuroscientific research has shown that regular mindfulness practice can alter the structure and function of the brain, particularly in areas related to emotional control. For instance, mindfulness has been found to increase the thickness of the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for executive functions like decision-making, impulse control, and regulating emotions. A stronger prefrontal cortex means better control over emotional responses and greater resilience in the face of adversity. In addition to the prefrontal cortex, mindfulness also affects the amygdala, the brain's emotional center, which is involved in processing fear and other strong emotions. When the amygdala is overactive, it can lead to heightened emotional reactions, making it difficult to manage stress or anxiety. Mindfulness has been shown to reduce the activity of the amygdala, promoting a calmer and more balanced emotional state. This shift allows individuals to respond to challenging situations with greater equanimity, rather than being swept away by negative emotions. Emotional regulation through mindfulness also fosters greater self-awareness. When we practice mindfulness, we become more attuned to our internal emotional landscape. This heightened awareness enables us to recognize when emotions are building, and it provides us with the opportunity to intervene before those emotions spiral out of control. For example, if we notice feelings of frustration or anger arising, mindfulness helps us acknowledge these emotions without judgment and without acting on them impulsively. By recognizing the emotion early, we can make a conscious decision about how to address it, whether through taking a few deep breaths, engaging in positive self-talk, or stepping away from a heated situation. Furthermore, mindfulness encourages a shift in how we relate to our emotions. Rather than viewing emotions as negative or something to be avoided, mindfulness teaches us to see them as transient experiences that are part of the human condition. This perspective reduces the power that emotions have over us. Instead of being controlled by our emotions, we learn to observe them, accept them, and let them pass without attaching unnecessary meaning or judgment. This shift in mindset is key to emotional regulation, as it prevents us from becoming trapped in cycles of rumination or overreaction. The practice of mindfulness also supports emotional regulation by improving our ability to respond to stress in healthier ways. Stress is a natural part of life, but chronic stress can have a detrimental impact on both our emotional and physical health. Mindfulness helps mitigate the effects of stress by promoting relaxation and increasing our capacity for emotional resilience. When faced with a stressful situation, mindfulness encourages us to pause, take a deep breath, and return to the present moment rather than getting swept up in the stressor. This pause creates a space in which we can choose a more measured, thoughtful response rather than reacting impulsively with frustration or anxiety. Another key aspect of mindfulness is its ability to foster self-compassion. Often we are our harshest critics, especially when we experience negative emotions. We might judge ourselves for feeling angry, anxious, or sad, reinforcing a cycle of guilt or shame. Mindfulness helps to break this cycle by encouraging an attitude of kindness and acceptance toward ourselves. Instead of criticizing ourselves for having certain emotions, mindfulness invites us to embrace them with compassion, recognizing that they are natural and temporary experiences. This self-compassion not only promotes emotional regulation, but also enhances our overall mental well-being. Practicing mindfulness regularly can lead to lasting changes in how we relate to our emotions, making emotional regulation a more automatic and integrated part of our lives. As we become more proficient in regulating our emotions through mindfulness, we begin to experience less reactivity and greater emotional stability. This emotional equilibrium fosters a greater sense of well-being and happiness, as we are no longer at the mercy of our emotional ups and downs. In conclusion, mindfulness is a powerful tool for emotional regulation, offering profound benefits for mental and emotional well-being. By cultivating a mindful awareness of our thoughts, feelings, and bodily sensations, we can gain greater control over our emotional responses and navigate the challenges of life with greater resilience and equanimity. Mindfulness allows us to break free from the automatic reactive patterns that often govern our emotional lives, creating space for more thoughtful, balanced, and compassionate responses. As we strengthen our ability to regulate our emotions, we increase our capacity for happiness and create a foundation for long-lasting emotional well-being. Human beings are inherently social creatures, and the connections we form with others are integral to our emotional well-being. While we often hear about the importance of individual achievements, self-improvement, and personal happiness, it's crucial to recognize that our relationships with others are one of the most significant contributors to lasting happiness. Building strong social connections is not merely about expanding our social circles, but fostering deep, meaningful relationships that provide emotional support, a sense of belonging, and shared experiences. The science behind human connection underscores the profound impact that social relationships have on our mental and physical health, happiness, and overall quality of life. At the core of human connection lies a fundamental biological need for social interaction. From a neurobiological perspective, our brains are wired to seek out connections with others. The release of oxytocin, often referred to as the bonding hormone, plays a central role in this. Oxytocin is released when we engage in positive social interactions, such as hugging, laughing, or simply spending quality time with friends and loved ones. This hormone promotes feelings of trust, warmth, and emotional closeness, which strengthens the bonds we form with others. Oxytocin not only deepens our emotional connections, but also helps us feel safe and supported in our relationships, which are essential for our mental health. Strong social connections are critical for our mental and emotional resilience, especially during times of stress or difficulty. Social support acts as a buffer against the negative effects of stress, reducing anxiety and improving our ability to cope with challenges. When we experience hardships such as loss, illness, or personal setbacks, having a network of supportive individuals can make a profound difference in our emotional recovery. Studies have shown that people with strong social ties are less likely to experience depression and anxiety, and they tend to recover more quickly from trauma. This is because the emotional support we receive from others provides validation, comfort, and a sense of perspective, helping us navigate life's difficulties with greater strength. In addition to emotional support, social connections contribute significantly to our sense of belonging. Feeling connected to others and part of a community is an essential aspect of human happiness. We all need to feel that we are seen, valued, and understood by those around us. When we lack these connections, we may experience feelings of loneliness or isolation, which can have detrimental effects on our mental and physical health. Chronic loneliness has been linked to increased risk for a range of health problems, including cardiovascular disease, weakened immune function, and even early mortality. By contrast, meaningful social connections foster a sense of purpose, create opportunities for shared experiences, and remind us that we are not alone in our journey. Furthermore, social connections play a vital role in enhancing our sense of self-worth. Positive, affirming relationships boost our self-esteem and remind us that we are worthy of love, care, and respect. These relationships provide us with a mirror through which we can see ourselves in a more positive light. When we are surrounded by people who appreciate and support us, we feel more confident in ourselves and our abilities. This boost in self-esteem is not just important for emotional well-being, but also for our mental health. People with higher self-esteem are more likely to take care of their physical health, pursue their goals, and take positive risks, all of which contribute to a more fulfilling life. Social connections are also crucial for our happiness because they foster shared experiences that create lasting memories and a sense of joy. Whether it's a simple conversation, a shared meal, or an adventure with friends, these moments of connection enrich our lives in ways that solitary activities cannot. Positive social interactions stimulate the brain's reward centers, releasing dopamine and endorphins, which contribute to feelings of happiness and contentment. Shared laughter, mutual understanding, and the emotional highs of spending time with others are some of the most significant sources of joy in life. Additionally, building strong social connections enhances our emotional intelligence and empathy. As we engage with others, we learn to understand different perspectives, navigate social dynamics, and regulate our emotions in response to the emotions of others. These interactions help us develop the skills necessary for building and maintaining healthy, supportive relationships. Strong social connections teach us how to give and receive love, provide support, and communicate effectively, skills that are vital for creating harmonious, fulfilling relationships. Building these relationships requires intentionality and effort. In today's digital age, it's easy to overlook the importance of face-to-face interactions, which are essential for fostering deep emotional bonds. While social media can help us stay connected, it often lacks the richness and depth of real-life interactions. To truly build strong social connections, we need to invest time and energy into in-person relationships, making an effort to engage in meaningful conversations, provide support, and share experiences. This might involve making time for regular social activities, reaching out to friends during times of need, or being present for others during their moments of vulnerability. Moreover, the quality of our relationships matters more than the quantity. Having a few close, supportive relationships is far more beneficial for our happiness and well-being than having a large number of acquaintances. True connection is based on trust, vulnerability, and mutual respect, and these qualities take time to cultivate. By investing in these deeper connections, we build a foundation of emotional security that can weather the inevitable ups and downs of life. In conclusion, building strong social connections is essential for achieving true happiness. The emotional support, sense of belonging, and shared joy that come from meaningful relationships have a direct and lasting impact on our mental, emotional, and physical well-being. Our brains are biologically wired to seek connection, and by fostering relationships that are based on trust, empathy, and mutual care, we create a life that is rich in support, fulfillment, and happiness. In an increasingly individualistic society, we must recognize the importance of nurturing these relationships and make a conscious effort to prioritize and invest in the people who matter most. Through this commitment to connection, we unlock one of the most profound sources of joy and resilience in our lives. In conclusion, achieving true happiness is not a distant goal, but a continuous journey shaped by the choices we make, the mindset we cultivate, and the relationships we nurture. It lies not in the pursuit of external possessions or fleeting pleasures, but in how we approach life, our challenges, and our growth. By understanding the neurobiology of happiness, setting meaningful goals, practicing mindfulness, and building strong social connections, we can create a life rich with purpose, emotional balance, and lasting fulfillment. True happiness is rooted in our ability to align our actions with our values, embrace the present moment with awareness, and nurture relationships that provide love, support, and joy. It is a process of self-discovery, resilience, and connection that unfolds each day, and the power to achieve it lies within each of us.